you know I was born in the 70s, right? I was born in 1974. And when I started off, I wasn't really into so many records, but the records that my parents had in my house. So let me start here quick with the 70s and go through some things that really I discovered late. For sure, Fela Kuti is a must-have. I have, gone over all his beats, all his songs, studied who he was. So that was a big one for me. Looking through here, of course, I see Prince grew up on some of this, vibes, especially Purple Rain album. Stevie Wonder was somebody I looked up to a lot. So, the Stevie Wonder albums, I don't know exactly which ones are these because I didn't have these in my house. I had Bob Marley, I had, some Lionel Richie. But I always love Isaac Hayes music from sampling by Puffy and the Bad Boy Crew. I learned a lot about Isaac Hayes. Let me see what else is in here. Al Green, I'm Still in Love with You, big hit songs. Aretha Franklin, R.E.S.P.C.T. But Chaka Khan, of course, Through the Wire. Learn about that, and I actually did a song with Chaka Khan recently, so that was fun. Terry Pendergrass for sure was in there, but James Brown. Now the James Brown samples, the drum beats, his documentary, the changes he made musically was something that really played a major role in my life. But I wasn't too familiar with Curtis Mayfield, but I learned all about that through samples. Of course, big Stevie Wonder album. But I think that's it for me for the 70s. Didn't know too much Sam Cooke. But the 80s, of course, I told you Purple Rain was one, but one of the most influential groups of my career. Teddy Riley, Guy, New Jack Swing. Love them songs. Of course, Whitney Houston, major influence on my life. Salt and Pepper, let's talk about sex, baby. Let me see, what else? Grandmaster Flash, yes, but I didn't learn about that till later on in life. This was in my house, for sure. I'm sure this was in every single house. Gotta big up Earth, Wind and Fire because as a DJ growing up, and I say as a DJ 9-year-old, I was in crates digging to the DJ in my neighborhood. He gave me access to his crates. So Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On. Let me see what else is in here. Ooh, and this is my song. It's About a Roni. Bobby Brown had to be in there. Yeah, I was a big Tina Turner fan, but didn't have really her records. But let's see, let me go through this quick. This, Lionel Richie, Say You, Say Me, Stuck on You, Hello. Come on. All part of my growing up. And let's see. Yes, I was a Janet fan, Rhythm Nation, but definitely love LL Cool J. So let's move to what we have here, 90s, 70s, 80s, 90s. On repeat in my car every single day. Biggie, Ready to Die was a big one. Belle Biv DeVoe, Do Me Baby. Poison, all right. Foxy Brown, come on, the Queen, Brooklyn, Trinidad. Big respect. That's my real personal friend. And I love her music. More Whitney. Let me see. Classic. Love every song. Definite inspiration, Lauryn Hill. That's my crew. I respect Nas, but I wasn't much into rap music coming up, so I kind of learned late about what his mics were about. But this was my rap. This is my rap coming up. Fugees, Wyclef. Love that vibration. Ready or Not. Here I come. Let me see. Not too much into the slow music. Tony Braxton is cool, yeah. All right. Missy, big fan. I was a DJ and Missy had a group she used to sing in. And they had a song called We Are Family. She did a remake of We Are Family. So I used to start all my gigs with that song. That used to light the dance up. Big up Missy. Of course, Aaliyah. Love Aaliyah. D'Angelo, yes, for sure. That was about our slow song. TLC. Ain't Too Proud to Beg. Yeah, that was my vibe. Scrubs. Let's see what else. Boom. Naughty by Nature. You done with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Come on, let's see what we have here. Mary J. Blige. If I ever had to say, I was probably her biggest fan. Love the way that hip hop was recreated, what they did, what Bad Boy did with Mary J. Blige. Something about it was exceptional. Didn't grow up on too much of the roots. A little bit of De La Soul, but that was it for the 80s. Let's go to, I think I should just dip in some of this classic reggae and soca, because right here, before we go into the 2000s and 2010s, because I was working so hard in this era that I was hardly listening to music. But a lot of this was what, was the revolution of people like, the ones who inspired me to change soca. But this Gregory Isaac album would probably be one of my favorites of all times. Night Nurse. I would play that up to today. I didn't grow up on much Dennis Brown, but I understand who he was. Harry Belafonte, Calypso. This album means a lot to me because the first gold album ever. And it bears the name of the roots of Trinidad and Tobago. And I just recently listened to this entire album and I found that, it was very, very advanced. Buju Banton, every single Buju Banton album, I would be waiting for the announcement of what day it will be coming out just to go and cop it. You know what I'm saying? Till Shiloh, when Buju was just changing his style. Girl, you make my day. Gotta big up my brother, Protege. I just saw the entire visuals for this launch in Jamaica. I love what he did. Going back to Ethiopia, that's definitely a vibe. Big up my brethren, Tantametra and Devante, but I didn't have these records back in my day. Shabba, Imdea, the Godhead. Shabba Ranks was definitely a major inspiration to us. Very, very big. I think we have one of his records in here that was probably a major influence to me. House Call with Maxi Priest. The production of that album and that record itself kind of encouraged me to want to produce music. I think House Call was one of the craziest productions ever. False Pretender. Garnet Silk. I used to sing a lot of Garnet Silk growing up. I remember one of the things about trying to get young people to like soca music, we would play certain reggae songs that they like. And, Garnet Silk is one. Here we go. House Call, Shabba Ranks. Major influence in my life. Of course, I perform with Ziggy a lot of times. The Queen of the Pack. This was another magic moment coming out of Shabba and seeing songs like Pull Up to My Bumper, Romantic Call. She was just one of the best, Peter Tosh, I like Indie Wailers, but of course, Bob Marley, Catch a Fire, big album. Every single Bob Marley album was studied by me. Mo Patra. Yeah, I'm on a romantic call. I see you have some soca compilations here, but I think I need to sponsor the Okayplayer Soca Crate. Big up Mega Banton. Yeah, Mega Banton was good too, Coming after Buju, people like Terra Fabulous and Mega Banton, we love their songs same way. Not Buju, but close. Let me see if I have any big ones in here that influence. I love when people like VP did, soca compilations with things like Tempted to Touch. All these major names on here. Denise Belfort, who had Work, What You Waiting For, Ghetto Flex. Yeah, Edwin Yearwood. Yeah, I was on a couple of soca goes, but my 1999 album featuring Beanie Man with Outer Space was on the VP label. This was definitely in my crate. I remember this outfit. Remember chilling with Patra in Manhattan. That was my girl. Capleton. Listen, I used to play these records as a DJ in schools, lighting up the place. It was conscious, but the beats was crazy. That was a big influence on me. Joyride. Come on, under the sycamore tree. I'm probably the biggest Dave Kelly fan. I just spoke to one of my friends, Cool Face in Jamaica, 2-3 weeks ago, and I was like, yo, bro, you have to introduce me to Dave Kelly. I think Dave Kelly could, have a different take on calypso and soca and bring it forward. When he did things like Nuff Gal and Gal in a Bundle with Beanie Man, that kind of level of genius. You know what I'm saying? Showtime rhythm, of course. But all hail the king. Barris is the smoothest, whether with Buju or not. Sizzla Kalonji, come on, definitely. Thank you, Mama. Yeah, I love this. Every Bob Marley, I would pull every one of these. Lee Scratch Perry was an alien, a little bit before my time. Maximum respect. Yeah, but these will be records. Is this Barrington Levy? The boss. We definitely would play Barrington all night long, non-stop. Boom, put on the rhythm. Come on. We grew up on this, and of course, Shadow. This is the bassman from hell, but this was one of his comebacks. Dingole. This was actually one of these songs that, made him popular in his older days. And around this time, he was actually writing songs for me. Songs like, What They Say on the 1997 album. So yeah, big respect to him. Exodus. The only thing missing here, the Mighty Sparrow is definitely somebody that I learned from. He was responsible for taking me on tour when I was just 11 years old to places like St. Croix and St. Thomas and all up the islands. The only thing I would put in here that was really critical that I didn't see was Steel Pulse. Roller skates, stepping out, stepping out. 2020s, a lot of hip hop and rap in there. Big up to Drake. I'll take care of you. When I heard this, I was like, yeah, it sound like these guys listening to some soca, vibing with Party Next Door. I love that. Let me see. Anything Rihanna, come on. Work, which was on Auntie, right? What was on this one? In these days, yeah, okay. Man Down, written by some Caribbean friends of mine. Big up Chantel. Kendrick, of course, this was a brilliant shift in culture. Right? I wouldn't call it an album, I'll call it a shift in culture. Big up Nicki Minaj, of course, always coming on and representing her writing, her ability to touch every genre. Hardcore, rap, pop. I did a couple of things with Nicki. I like Doechii, yeah, but still yet to dive deep into her. Of course, more Kendrick. Big up SZA. I am a Travis Scott fan, but I haven't dove deep into his albums and music. I like his vibe. So that would be something that I'll spend some time for production and understanding that energy of the mosh pit. I think is something scientific. So Beyonce for sure. The queen can't come around. No. This is what you call collaboration at its best. Some of the records on here, I rate Kanye West as one of the best producers around. His ability to work with other people and to just keep changing the sounds, but always making something that touches your soul. Views, big album. Big up the Toronto youth. you know. Lot of West Indian vibes on there. I rock with Childish Gambino and even, you know, J. Cole a little bit, but Kendrick is definitely something special because, you know, he took his time to get to that point of mass appeal, and he was taking some real nice steps into like saying what he wanted to say. The blueprint, come on, not fair, have to be in there. Adele, all right, I'll give her some respect, but this right here, Amy Winehouse, do you know one of my best friends produced on this? We're talking about one of the greatest to ever do it. He goes by the name of Segway now, but you should know who he is. Outkast, Bombs Over Baghdad. Big, big, big. Black Album, of course, we're playing that. I'll give Nelly some love, some of that country grammar vibe. He did change things, you know. I mean, I love what Lil Wayne did in the late days, like things like Lollipop, but you know, in terms of rap, Wayne was out of this world and different from everybody else. So that was kind of like vibes. Nelly Furtado, love you. Aaliyah, come on. Timbaland and Aaliyah changing the beats was just as good as Missy Elliott. That was crazy. Music Soul Chat, he looked like MACHEL Montano. He'll get a play for that. More Beyonce for sure. Drunken Love, big, big record. Promiscuous Boy, big. Timbaland again. This is the only Dr. Dre and Lil Jon you'll have in there, but this time here with Lil Jon, crazy beats. These side boys, come on. The Chronic should be in here. Big respect to J Dilla, yes. But of course, LL Cool J will be my kind of people back in the day and still now today. And enough respect to Wu-Tang Clan, of course, for coming out to Staten Island and doing the thing. So that's basically the stuff that I know, the stuff that I would play. But for me, I would love to like research these things now. When this music was happening, me as a musician and a writer was very busy writing my own stuff, creating my own stuff, working with writers and producers down in the trenches. Sometimes when you're like that, you hardly have time to sift through albums. You know the hits. You know, people like Bob Marley, I stay away from the hits and I skirt around to songs like Africa Unite and Zimbabwe. And, you know, yes, I love Three Little Birds, and yes, I love, you know, Stir It Up, and yes, I love, you know, Is This Love? But you like to find Johnny Was a Good Boy. The ones that people don't really gravitate to when you hear the nice message and the nice production, so you know. But I love vinyl, and I was introduced to music by a DJ who left me in his room at 9 years old with his crates while he went to work, and I was all up in there.